Hey everybody, it's Ralph from NoMoreMutants, and I'm here in the man cave, and I just wanted to go over some of my CGCs, why I collect, what I collect, and some of their current conditions, and give you a little bit of a tutorial or a 101 on how to collect or start your own collection of CGC Comics. So CGC is an actual company that comes and grades your comics. You can find them most of the time at conventions, or you can actually mail your comics to them, protected hopefully of course, so they can go ahead and go through the grading process for you. What they'll do is review it, check the quality of the paper, check the coloring of the paper also, which is pretty important. You don't want to have an old comic book with super yellow pages. And they'll also go through and slab it up. What you're looking at here is my X-Men 100 slabbed as a 9.4, and this is off-white to white pages, meaning that some of the pages are not pure white, they're just slightly tinted. This is one of my favorite comic books of all time. I actually read this in the classic X-Men print by Art Adams and Marvel a long time ago, and I had to have this if I ever was able to purchase it. I was, and I did. This is a pretty high grade, so starting with the grades, at the very top you got a 10. Solid 10 is a gem. That to me is a unicorn. It's very, very, very difficult to find. Coming after that is a 9.9, and then afterwards it goes down to 9.8s, 9.6, 9.4s, 2s, and then it jumps into halves. It goes to 8.5, 8, 7.5, 7, and backwards until finally you get to some of them that they'll even slab it for you if you have no cover and so forth. It's not particularly graded, but it is protected for you. This is sealed. You cannot open it. It is guaranteed to be a 9.4. So in the speculative community, or the community that wants to buy a quality comic book and they're unsure of how somebody has kept their book, this guarantees them they will have a 9.4, which is really, really good. On top of that, you can start protecting this in the long run for future family members, such as grandkids, children, or anything like that you want to pass this down to. So this is my X-Men 100 by Marvel Comics, 1976. Let's go ahead and get to our next one. I'll put it away, take out my next one. And here you go. It is X-Men 101. I don't have the entire X-Men collection. I wish I did, but as you know, I'm a big X-Men fan, as you can see with some of the statues and books around them. But this is X-Men 101. This is one of the premier books that you need to have. This is always a wall book. This is the first appearance of Jean Grey as Phoenix. And this starts us down the Dark Phoenix path. This is a 9.2 off-white to white pages. It is a little bit less than the other book, but because this book is higher in importance because of the first appearance of Jean, it may fetch a higher price. And I've always been a fan of Dave Cockrum's art, so I just definitely had to have that. Get into my next issue. This one's a lot thinner than the other one. It is X-Men 107. This is the last Dave Cockrum piece, or last time he was on the X-Men as a full run. On top of that, this has a magnificent page spread inside right when you open the book, that I had to have this book. It is that important for me. It says it's the first full appearance of the Starjammers as well. So this is pretty cool. The other thing that you'll notice, this is slightly different, where before it said white pages up here. Here it says it because CGC throughout their grading process has changed the way they print their labels. So this one, they had it in the middle. This is from 1977. And as you can see, each one of them has a barcode, so you can look these up and see if there are any notations. You can also see how many of these are graded as a 9.4 or 9.6 or above. Let's keep going. And here we go with X-Men 134, the beginning of the Dark Phoenix saga. So this one is from 1980 already. We've jumped a few years. It is already by John Byron and Terry Austin cover. This is where Phoenix becomes Dark Phoenix. This is a 9.6, and this is also white pages. All right, here we go. we have another 9.6 off-white to white pages. This is X-Men 135, right after the previous issue. And this is Dark Phoenix in full effect here. And this is a 9.6. This is a great way to protect the entire series or the entire storyline if you want, which is what I did here. This is issue 136. You can barely see it because I got these protected themselves so I don't damage the plastic containers that they're in. This is a 9.6 off-white pages. This is 137 of Uncanny X-Men. And this is Leandra appears and President Jimmy Carter makes a cameo. That's right, the president. All right, we're gonna keep sliding, and this should be the end of my 9.6s. And this is my classic X-Men run. This is issue 137. This is where Phoenix actually dies. She commits suicide to save her friends and her loved ones. This is a very famous cover. This is a very famous issue. This is the death of Phoenix. So right now, as you saw, I had issue 100, 101, 107, and then I jumped into the Dark Phoenix storyline, which we jumped into 134. That covers my classic X-Men. Those are from, you know, pre 1980s. Then I jumped onto, actually I had one more 9.6. I apologize. Days of Future Past. This is 1981 January. This is the famous storyline that they made the movie based off of, which is still my favorite X-Men movie. And this we have appearances, first full appearances of Rachel Gray, or Rachel Summers, which is the daughter of Jean and Scott. And this is an absolutely famous cover. They've done so many homages to this. This is a white page interior, so all my pages are crisp and vibrant. On top of that, it's a 9.6. It's not the top, it's the highest grade, and if I do use the barcode, I can see how many there are at this grade. But this is a very good condition that I can pass it on to a loved one. Probably a grandkid later on who likes comics like his grandfather. All right, here we go. Now we jump into our 9.8s. And I jumped quite a bit to X-Men 213. This is another famous cover, another famous issue. This is Wolverine versus Sabretooth and Uncanny X-Men 213 from 1987. So as you saw, we made a few jumps. Now, why did I jump? Why didn't I get the next issue of Days of Future Past? Well, one, that is coming. Two, these can get a little pricey. So what you want to do is make sure you get what you want. That's one of my biggest things that I tell fans and collectors. Purchase what you want, collect what you like. You don't have to collect everything. You don't have to be a completist. So this right here in front of you is X-Men 247. I love this artwork by Mark Silvestri. This is from 1989. So it jumps from issue 213 to 247 is where I jump into. This is where the Siege Perilous happens. And I actually love that storyline. But most of all, you can see Rogue. She's actually wearing Captain Marvel or Miss Marvel's costume. And I love this artwork. The lines on it are amazing. From there we jump into a very famous issue. Issue 248. This is the famous Jim Lee cover. This is the first time Jim Lee was on the Uncanny books. He had always dreamt of being on the Uncanny X-Men, and he finally made it. And this is his first premiere cover. This is absolutely gorgeous inside. It is absolutely gorgeous outside. It is a must-have for any Jim Lee fan. And I actually started to collect my Jim Lee collection so I can jump on that and save those for my kids, because this is when I started reading comics. Well, not my kids, but my kids' kids, grandkids. We jumped from 248 to 268. This is another famous Jim Lee cover, issue 268. This is a 9.8. It is on white pages, so it's very crisp. This is Captain America, Black Widow, and Wolverine together. Scott Williams doing inks for Jim Lee, which is a dynamic duo. In my opinion, Scott Williams is just as talented as Jim, and Scott actually has come into his own and started drawing not just inking. He has a few pieces for igcomicstore.com, and they are absolutely brilliant and beautiful. So shout out to Scott, and I'm still building that collection. I'm going to jump over to my next copy, and this is for the Extinction Agenda. I missed an issue in between here, and I'm determined to get it. But this is Uncanny X-Men 270, white pages 9.8. This is the beginning of the Extinction Agenda with Havoc. On the cover there was Teenage Storm, Boom Boom from the New Mutants at the time, and Warlock at the bottom. This is such an amazing storyline. I remember reading this and just being blown away. And from then on, I was hooked. Here is the following issue, but not in order. This is part 4 of the Extinction Agenda. The other one was part 1. This is when Wolverine and Psylocke show up during the Extinction Agenda and start wreaking havoc. I love this book. I love this issue a lot. I had to have it. Again, I'm building up my Jim Lee collection. This is 271 as a 9.8. Moving forward, we have Uncanny X-Men 272. This is an absolutely stunning cover with Archangel, Storm as a full-blown adult now, Wolverine, and Cable. If you haven't read the story, I highly recommend that you do. Highly recommend you do. It's absolutely beautiful inside, except for maybe the last issue. They changed the artist's interiors. So here is issue 274. At this particular time, Jim Lee had already spoken to Marvel about rebooting the X-Men, doing something totally different, and we're getting closer to that time where he launches X-Men 1. Here you have Nick Fury, you have you have Rogue and Magneto in the Savage Lands, and Kazar. So this is another Jim Lee Scott Williams dynamic duo. Has a 9.8 with white pages. All right. This, I mean, can't stress enough how famous this book is. This is issue 275. Now, what's absolutely stunning about this is a 9.8, but Jim Lee did the front cover and the back cover as a wraparound, and it actually unfolds from the inside. That's why it's cut a little bit different here. It's because it's a gatefold. It actually opens up to reveal Storm and a few other characters. This is issue 275. It is on white pages by Jim Lee and Scott Williams. On. This is issue 276. Another famous cover. Guys, I cannot stress it enough how awesome Jim Lee's books were. He just absolutely outdid himself every single time, always stepping up to the plate. Here's issue 276, which shows him killing Professor Charles Xavier. I remember seeing this cover and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to buy this now. And I have to go read it when I was riding my bike at the park bench. So I had to just stop and read it right away. That one's a 9.8 as well with white pages. And we're coming to my end. This is issue 277 of Uncanny X-Men. This is Jim Lee against Scott Williams with white pages. This is Gambit against Wolverine. Like, we were speculating this for months when this character came out. We wanted to see him go to toe with Wolverine, and he did. And he actually beat Wolverine. So this was absolutely beautiful. From here, Jim Lee is working on X-Men issue 1. He's working on the cover, he's working on the drawings, and they're inking and everything. So we had some guest appearance artists from issue 278 on until we reach the second Genesis for Uncanny X-Men. This is where Wallace Portacio, who was previously on X Factor, took the reins and started leading the creative team for Uncanny X-Men. The other thing that's pretty cool about this issue, this is Jim Lee's and Wallace Portacio's story. They were writing in this. So that's pretty cool about this. This is a mutant milestone because from here, it's launched at the same time as X-Men 1. Anyways, guys, this is a small glimpse of my CGC's 9.8 for my classic X-Men line. From here, I do have my X-Men 1 and forward. I think I have all the Jim Lee issues all the way to issue 11. I think 11 is currently being shipped to me. But like I said, guys, as you see with my collection, get what you like, get what you love, get what you want to pass down. You don't have to get everything. And you know what? This is a pretty substantial collection that I have here. It may not be a whole bunch of key books, but I have some really nice issues and really important issues to me. And that's what's important, is what does it mean to me, not what it means to somebody else. So anyways, guys, thanks for following the channel. Thanks for subscribing. And make sure you follow me on Instagram. I am NoMoreMutants on Instagram. And continue following me here on YouTube, where we will be continuing to do more CGC reviews as I have more in the man cave. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks so much. Have a great day.